Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of this base makeup breakdown series that I'm doing right here. The first part was me showing you how to use corrector, foundation, and concealer, all of our liquid products, and now we're going to go in with our powder products and I'm going to show you where to apply your highlighter, your blush, your bronzer, and how to do a little bit of contouring and what's the difference between bronzing and contouring. As always, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into part 2 of this video series. Okay, welcome to part 2 of this video. As you know, we already have our foundation, our concealer on, and we have a little bit of powder set underneath our eyes and in our T-zone. And before I go in with any other liquid products, I want to make sure that the rest of my base is no longer tacky. So I'm going to go in with a stippling brush. This one is the All Over Everywhere brush by Laura Mercier, and I'm just using a little bit of the Rimmel Stay Matte powder in transparent. And I'm just very lightly going to go over the cheekbone area where we're about to put powder products on to make sure that nothing is tacky. And then just a little bit on the hairline as well, because that's where we're going to be putting a little bit of bronzer. So basically just a light dusting around the face. So for me, I actually do my highlighter first, which is an untraditional way to do this. Usually people do their highlighter last, but I've found through trial and error over the years that putting my highlighter on first actually makes it look the prettiest and the most natural, because everything else is going to blend into it instead of it blending into your bronzer, which I found tended to look muddy sometimes. So I like to go in with my highlighter first. This is the Desi and Katie collaboration with Dose of Colors. This is Mírame, and then I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 brush. This is always the brush that I use for highlighter. And then you're just going to find the tops of your cheekbones, okay? So for me, that's right here. And I'm just very lightly holding at the end of my brush so I have the least amount of pressure. And I'm just very, very lightly going to be fanning this at the top of my cheekbone right here. And I like to put it in this little C shape and I connect it to my brow bone. So just like that in that area. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Just flicking it up and down over here in this little C shape. So I like to do this up and down flicking motion so that it can blend at the edges and it doesn't just look like a streak of highlighter like you can find happens sometimes. Now next up, I actually like to apply my blush, and I'm going to be using an oldie today. This is Milani Luminoso, and I'm using a Sonia Kashuk blush brush, which I don't even know if they still make this brush, but it's one of my favorites. I'll see if I can find it online, but they used to carry it at Target. And what I'm going to do is I don't like my blush on the apples of my cheeks. I prefer it a little bit further back. So I put it right underneath where I put my highlighter in circular motions, and then whatever's left over, once I start it further back, I'll kind of very lightly put just a drop further back than the apples of my actual cheeks, and then I'll lift it up and out, just like that. So I swirl a little bit of product on my brush, tap off the excess, and I'm going to start further back here, small circular motions, and then very lightly start to flick it outward just a little bit. So you're going right underneath where you put that highlighter. Okay, so last step, I'm going to be putting on bronzer. So I like a little bit of a warmer undertone bronzer on me personally. So today I'm going to be going in with this one right here by Burberry. This is in the shade number 4, Summer Glow. And I'm using that on my IT Cosmetics Wand Ball powder brush. And I like it because it's a little bit tapered. It comes to a slight point, so you can get right into the hollows of your cheekbones and blend right where you want it to go instead of getting it super low and messy on this lower cheek area. So you want to see where the natural shadow is in your cheekbone right here. It's usually in line with the top of your ear down to the corner of your mouth. And you're very lightly going to do small circular motions and blend upward into the other powders that you already have on your cheek. And then I also take my bronzer up here by my temple and just a little bit around the edges of my forehead. And I'm going to blend this into my hairline so that there isn't a demarcation between start and stop. I really want to blend that in. And same thing on the other side. Small circular motions, blending it upward onto the temple and around the hairline. And then that is where I add my bronzer. Now, with bronzing, you're adding warmth back to the skin. With contouring, you're creating shadows. So there is a slight difference there. So I just added warmth back to the skin and I used something with a warmer undertone. But if I want to create some shadows and add some structure back to the skin, I want to use something that's a little bit ashier and cooler in undertone. So I'm going to choose to use Hoola Bronzer by Benefit today. And I want a brush that's a little bit more structured. So I'm using the NARS, what is this called again? I think it's like the IT brush. I can't really remember names so much right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a shadow anywhere that I want to add a slimming effect. So I'm just going to take a little bit down the sides of my nose to create the illusion of a straighter and skinnier nose. So I'm taking a straight line down both sides. So that just adds a little bit more structure there. Then I'm going to go right in the hollows of my cheekbone right here, and I'm going to flick the powder upward. Just to add a little bit of structure here. And I'll do the same thing on the other side, just a little bit. Again, blend that up into the other powders. It's just going to give a little bit of a chiseled look. And then again, you can do the same thing on your jawline. And a lot of people like to put it right on the bottom of their lower lip to add the illusion of a shadow as if your lip is a little bit bigger. So you can do that right there. So from here, your base makeup is done, and then you'd go ahead and add some eyeshadow, add some lipstick, mascara, all those little final touches. But that is it for part 2 of this video, adding our powder products on. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.